Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are watching Fatal Distractions Let's Chat, and I am your host, Gretchen Dixon. While everything is getting ready, and tonight's going to be amazing, I want to say Happy New Year to those of you that are tuning in tonight. This is our very first broadcast of the new year. So I'm very, very excited to be here. I just want to thank you guys for those of you that have been hanging in here with me since the inception of this way back in May. And just this is going to be an amazing month because we talk about, some people make resolutions, whether they're going to lose weight or do a Daniel fast, whatever it is. But the Lord had dropped in my spirit this month, January 2021, for you that are listening and those of you that are watching in the replay, it's your time to soar. In your time like never before, in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of all the unrest, it is your time to soar. So excited. My very special guest starting out the new year with a bang, none other than Tina Gilbert, all the way from Arkansas. So Tina, welcome, welcome, welcome to the
Thank
broadcast,
you.
and just tell those that are on, that are watching, a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. I'm Tina Gilbert, and I'm the author of Next Level Thinking is 90 Days to Inspire Your Best Life. And this is a perfect time to be on the broadcast. This is the first broadcast of the new year, so happy new year. I want to just tell you a little bit about me. I'm from Arkansas, so I always say I'm a small town girl, but I love to travel, so I've been to some amazing places. But I really am just kind of like what Gretchen said, this person that has just been listening to God's voice. And so as I have been listening, he really directed me to write this book. And so that's kind of a little bit of the focal point of which what we'll talk about today. But also have two adult sons. I have three grandchildren that I just absolutely love. I've been telling people, I wish we could have done the grandbabies first because they are so much fun.
Yes.
So I really enjoy that. I live in Northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville, home of the Razorbacks. So,
Yes.
yay, Big Suey. So
Yes.
it's a lot of fun to be here in Fayetteville. I get to go. I love basketball, but now that everything has been shut down, that's been not able to do that. But in the past, that's been a lot of fun. So I just love learning and growing, and I love the fact that you're talking about soaring this year because we are ready to really prosper right here in the middle of a pandemic. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of background about me.
Wow. And she is the sister to one of my very good friends, my one of my best friends. I call her my partner in crime. Oh my goodness. I some of the things, but one good thing about it, she was my partner in crime, like I said, BC, before Christ. And she
Right.
was the one that actually introduced me back then to our home church, which was called Trumpet and Zion. So even though we were partners in the streets, she led me to the church. I joined the church, and so the rest is history. And we both are serving God. So that's a friend. You can be a friend. Some friends may leave you if you were hanging with them at the club and you get into church. But she actually led me, to her church at the time, and we both, served God together.
Well,
Just want to,
amen.
yeah. So it's been great, and I know your mom who has gone on to be with the Lord. She prayed for me and Ann. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
so much, so much.
Yes.
Ann and I talk about that all the time about Mother Mary Gilbert. Oh my goodness. So I'm here because I know so many people prayed for me. So now I understand. I didn't understand when and Esther, those of you that used to watch Sanford the Sun used to say when I was a fish eye fool, but now I know. So the prayers of the righteous, and so moms, if you're listening and your children or your loved one is not serving God, just keep praying because I tell you, I am a witness that I am that person that so many people were praying for. So just be encouraged.
Yes.
Tina, I remember you working in Little Rock and you moved to Fayetteville. And I remember your book is amazing because I bought your book and
Thank you.
it's not like any other uh, So we'll start by describing your next level thinking and kind of what you're doing now to lead into kind of what you're doing during this pandemic.
Well, thank you. The key was next level was I went to this happened years ago. I can't even remember how long ago it was, but I was at a church service and the minister really talked about going to the next level. And at the time, I really didn't know what he was meaning. You know how you're still kind of young in
Mhm.
Christ and you're like, okay, what does that mean? But that term really stuck with me. And so it was just something that I had always thought about. So years later, I was getting ready to start consulting professionally, and I was thinking about what would be my name for my company or my organization. So I was like, it's got to have something with next level. So
Mhm.
it was called Next Level Training Solutions Group. And so then everything started kind of, evolving. And so I ended up being directed to start a blog. Then I started, I really started writing a newsletter, then a blog, and then it went to the book. But then I thought, okay, next level. Next level is all about your thinking. When
Mhm.
you think about even the word of God would tell you, I'm trying to make sure I'm saying it right. I'm gonna kind of paraphrase it, but as a man thinketh, so is he.
Mhm.
So when you really think about soaring, you want to do something this year, it's really about changing your mindset. It's
Mhm.
about saying, you know what, yes, I can do this. It's not about, oh, I don't have the right background. Oh, I don't have the right education. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, you know how we have all these excuses, but it's
Mhm.
like, no, I'm going to change this paradigm. Yes, I can do this. So that's what the next level thinking is all about. It's really about just knowing that consistent. And I think we were talking about this before our call, being consistent and knowing
Mhm.
that, yes, you can move forward and do whatever you have your mind set to do. So it was really about your goals, dreams, and desires. As women, a lot of times we are raising children, we're wives, we work, and we have so many things going on that we kind of put our goals on the back burner. So
Mhm.
this book is really about like, nope, it's not on the back burner anymore. Let's put it in the forefront and let's change our thinking and move forward and really soar and live that life that you want to live.
Wow. So what advice would you give? I know there are a lot of you that listen, share and like and invite someone because this is a blessing. It will bless you.
Thank you.
Um, I know you like you said the next level of thinking, but how would someone step out? They say, well, I'm afraid, I don't have the money. How did you change your mindset? What was the pivoting point for you to begin to think differently?
That's a great question because so many times people are like, well, you know what? How do you really do this? And I don't want to make this sound too simple, but I think it's just you have to jump out there and take the step because
Hmm.
you don't know what you can do until you start.
That's
And
it.
what happens is that mindset keeps us in that holding pattern, and all those excuses just keeps us, back. For an example, I'll be very honest with you. I'm not really a writer. I didn't even like writing. I didn't even feel like I was good at it. But God started leading me in that direction. I thought, well, why would you ask me to write when that's not one of my passions? I'm not even sure if I'm good at it. But I started, and so as I started, um, it just continued to get better and better and better. So I really just tell people, you know what? You could just take one small step toward whatever
Mhm.
you want to do. And once you take that small step, then you keep building. This is not, I tell everybody, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Mhm.
This is not something you just do one time and say, oh, that's it. But it's a continuation of a lifestyle change, really.
Wow, that's good. That's good. And what are you doing now? I know you moved corporately to Fayetteville, and I was excited to you're in Razorback country, so I thought maybe I get a chance to go to a few games. Now I have a hookup. You're up there, but
Right.
so what are you doing now? What has transpired for you during the pandemic? How has it been for you?
Wow. And wow is probably the right word to use. I moved here about 3 years ago, and the key was, um, I moved here for a job, well, not necessarily a job. My job transferred me here. And so I did that. But during the pandemic, and that's another thing I like, which that question, how do you really change your mindset and really get out there? And during the pandemic, I decided to go full time into my business. And
Wow.
so when you think about like, why would you do that during the pandemic? And it was
Yeah.
like, well, kind of was, kind of pushed into it. But to be honest, it has been probably one of the best decisions. I really feel like I am completely walking into my purpose. During the pandemic, it allowed me to have time to really plan, get my structure together. Strategy is one of the key words that I use
Mhm.
when you start thinking about how do you soar. Um, but also, it really provided some opportunity because we were, everybody was shut down. And as you know,
Mhm.
people started getting out on Facebook. You started doing all these Zoom
Yes.
meetings. And so
Yes.
I started offering training sessions, just on Zoom. And it was really a great opportunity because before I would have had to travel, I would have been in a small geographical location with people probably locally. And
Mhm.
not too long ago, I was on a call where I had people from DC, South Carolina, Arkansas, just all over.
Mhm.
I was on just recently, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was on another call that had maybe, it was somewhere like close to 90 people on the call. And I was like, wow, I would have never
Yeah.
probably had a class quite that large because I was in person, I was more
Mhm.
focused on having smaller sessions. But now that we have, a larger platform where you can really meet more needs, it's opened up more opportunities. So I
Mhm.
think this pandemic, it definitely has caused a lot of unrest. It's a lot going on, so I will not dismiss that. But also on the flip side, if we go back to that next level thinking, you go back to say, how do I? What is a solution? Because it's always an answer.
Mhm.
We have a problem or a concern, but what's the solution? What
Mhm.
can we actually try? And so I think this pandemic has allowed us to be very innovative, and to really get out of that box and do something different.
Wow, that's good. I've heard a saying that said, "He who solves a problem gets paid." And so that's how you can find
Right.
what your niche is. Even individuals that love to bake. This has been a time that, like you said, out of boredom, love to bake. They've been baking or cooking and been selling dinners, and now it's turned into a business. Wow.
Absolutely, you're right.
So for someone, you left corporate America, you left your cushiony job of security, and stepped out on faith to do that. How has that been? Do you sleep in? Do you say, "Oh, I'm not going to work today"? What has work habits been like for you? Because there are people that they love the idea of being an entrepreneur or having their own business, but there's some characteristics that you have to have. What has that experience been like for you, doing your own thing now?
And I'm going to be very transparent about that. Being independent is very scary. It has uh, um, a whole set of another set of concerns, I guess you can say, because most of the time we don't jump out because we want to stay in our comfortable comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I was guaranteed to get that check every other week. I was
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed to have healthcare insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance. And so now when you step away from that, you're like, oh, if I don't work, I don't
Uh-huh.
get a paycheck. Now I'm paying for my own health care out of my, out of my own money now, not so much, it
Mm-hmm.
still was your money, but the organization usually contributed a large portion of
Yes.
that healthcare
Mm-hmm.
insurance. And so now I'm doing that. I'm like, oh, but the key is, uh, to be honest, you're going to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm probably working harder now than I have ever done in my life. A lot of my friends are like, well, what are you doing? You're just doing too much. Uh, Last night, I was in my office until about 9 o'clock, and I had been working since early that morning. So the thing is, no, I get up just like I'm going to work. This morning, I started really about 6:30. And you see, we're still really working. It's 8 o'clock. So
Yes.
you're going to put in some hours, but the reward is you get to control your day. So I
Yes.
get to take some breaks. I had some friends over. I went for a walk today and relaxed. Um, I hate to tell people this because I tried to kind of keep it a little on the down low because of the COVID, and I do encourage everyone to practice safety, which I did.
Mhm.
But I have my grandchildren that actually live in Washington, and so I was able to go to Washington several times this year,
Mhm.
and I was still able to work. So I
Yes.
love the flexibility of being able to move around, also being able to control uh, your your uh, your schedule. So it has advantages, but it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna tell anybody that it's not work.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because I remember many years ago I sold real estate, and I was sharing with you earlier that me selling real estate, that was probably the hardest I had worked, because if I didn't sell a house, then I didn't have any money coming in.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that, for those of you that are thinking about it, that you want to do this, just know that you have to be consistent, you have to be determined, and you have to have that drive. I like to say, and like David in the Bible said that there are sometimes he had encouraged himself. So there will be
Mhm.
times that your friends won't understand. There are times that, you may hit a little low spot as far as your emotions, but then you have to pick yourself back up and dust yourself off and keep pushing, because if you don't push your vision, then it won't come to pass. And like you said, right
Right.
now you may be working hard or harder, it seems, but the rewards, because I understand, like I said, I love being able to do what I do and not having to clock in, or like you said, I decided if I want to work today, or if I have a doctor's appointment, I don't have to get permission. I can just, I move my schedule around. I'm still working, so I may not be in the office at 10 because I have a doctor's
That's right.
appointment, but then I'm still gonna go show up in my home office, because
Exactly.
like you said, the bills continue. But the main thing is that for me, I'm creating a lifestyle to leave a legacy for my children's children. And so doing that, like you said, I may work hard on a project or during a certain time, but the reward later on, that I'll be able to take that vacation when I want to. And the main thing is, as long as there is some Wi-Fi, you can take your office with you. That's a
Exactly.
great thing. You can change your, I call it changing your work location. One of my mentors, she Pastor Monica Haskell, she'll post a picture in the Bahamas and let you know, okay, this is my workspace for today.
Right.
So she's working. She's,
Yeah,
as long as she has internet, you can work.
that's
You can
right.
definitely do work. So what are some of the things that you have now that you've stepped out and you left corporate? So what are some of the things that you are working on, that those that are watching may be interested in participating in?
Well, good. I do want to highlight the book because the book I had to, it's really the reason why I want to highlight it. I tell people it's not really about me. It's really about following my path that Christ has set out for me. Really walking in purpose, and really when I use that tagline, "Living your best life," you only live your best life when you are really in your true purpose and following Christ's design for you. So the
Mm-hmm.
book really, I had to go back through the book myself. Really, some of the things I'm working on now is with the first of the year, with my book, The Next Level Thinking. I'm doing some vision board. I say events, not necessarily parties. They're still virtual, but it's really a good time to really get focused on being intentional for the year. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I really tell people that you can do whatever you put your mind to do, but you have to put the steps in. I
Yes.
use a kind of a plan, and it's called SOAR. But the S represents strategy,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to have a strategy. Just say for an example, most of the time as women, we always say, well, we're going to lose some weight this year. And that's
Mm-hmm.
fine, but you still have to have a strategy. Are you going to do
That's
the
right.
keto diet? Are you going to do Weight Watchers? Are you going to say, well, I'm going to do just, fruits and vegetables. I'm going to do no meat, or, whatever your plan is, that's going to be your strategy. So you can say, well, I'm going to follow this particular eating plan. I'm going to exercise several times a week, for just say 3 times a week for 45 minutes. I'm going to increase my water intake. So you're creating your strategy, right? And so that's what I'm doing right now is the vision boards is really part of your strategy. You still need to have a written plan, but that vision board is your visual of what you see every day of your goals. And I tell people you can put it on a cardboard, you can put it on in a frame. You don't have to have anything expensive. You can use construction paper if you wanted to, but also, they have a digital platform. You can have it on your phone, but it needs to be somewhere where you are reminded of it every day. So that's one thing I'm working on with my book. Also, the book comes with a journal. So I always tell people I journal every day, or sometimes I may not write in the journal, but I try to really think about one thing I do is really focus myself in the morning, like, where do I really need to spend my time? Those types of things. I'm still really working on planning some more fun events. Last year, we had started doing Next Level Thinkers Who Brunch. And it was actually at a brunch location, but then COVID hit. It was like, well, I need to rethink that. So we're going to do some virtual things. Also on my website, I have a virtual class out there that I'm launching, and it really kind of highlights the book. It has about 10 modules. It's very, very reasonable. And so I'm really working more in that virtual space that you can still do online and kind of do it at your own pace.
Oh, that's good. And what does the O say? Now you got me intrigued.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, let me tell you.
What's the rest of SOAR?
Okay, here's the SOAR. First of all, the S is for strategy, and thank you for asking about it. The O is objectives. Like, really, an objective is still somewhat your goal. Like, what goal do you have in mind, or what is your objective? What do you want to accomplish? It's kind of like when we say we want to lose weight. What is your really objective? Is the losing weight more about being in better health? Is it more about, well, I really want to look better in my clothes? Or is it that, maybe once COVID is over, you want to go to a warm destination and you want to wear a two-piece? So that's why I say objective. So what is the overall objective that you have in mind? So therefore, you create those goals and steps for it. Then so that's S-O, then the A is how do you achieve this? Sometimes people are like, well, I just want, I want to do it. Well, you have to kind of really have some things in place. And then the R is your results or measurements that you would go through. A lot of times, you say, well, I want to lose weight. Is that a pound or two? Or do you want to really say it's 10 pounds? And then how do you really know that you successfully accomplished this goal? And you will not know that until you really get the results that you are desiring. So that's the sort.
Wow, and it was in perfect timing because that's a part of your book. And what I like about your book, Tina's book, is that it's not a 30-day, but it's a 90-day. And so why did you pick 90 over 30? Like, I have a devotional that I wrote, and it's a 30-day. So what's significant about 90? Why did you choose 90?
In 90 was really intentional. And initially I was thinking, I want to do a 365. I want to do something every day, because the way the book is set up, and I want you to go to my website, it's just tinaegilbert.com. And you'll see the book and journal. And right now I have a special price out there. It's a bundle. So you can get both of them very reasonable. They're also on Amazon. So if you want to go to Amazon, now Amazon kind of do their own thing. So they have the book sold separately. It's the book and journal separately. So I don't have any control over that. But the way it's set up, you have a reading, then you have questions and next level thinking. So food for thought. And the reason why I did 90 days was, they always say it takes 21 days to create a habit. So I said 21 days, that's almost 30 days. So if you did something consistently, like for a month, you're kind of getting in this habit. So I thought, well, I'm a little slow. So, maybe I need to do 60 days, because that gives you an extra month. So then I thought, okay, 90 days. So that really gives you full opportunity to really have this to stick, because it has to
Mhm.
be intentional and it has to be a lifestyle. And I tell everybody the
Mhm.
book and journal is designed in such a way where, you take, 3 months or so to really go through it. But I tell people, don't stress about it, because sometimes the way it's set up, you may go through the first day, do your journal entry, and that day may speak to you for several days. And
Wow,
then you might
that's
come
good.
back and say, you know what, let me now add, day two, because each day is designed a little different. I mean, it's a different topic. And there's going to be different questions that you need to ask. Like, for an example, in the journal, look, I got to put my glasses on. That tells my age a little bit now. So in the journal, and I'm just kind of going to pick a random day here. So day 26, it says, um, first of all, do you laugh, and how often? But it also says, you know, when was the last time you had a good belly laugh? And are you taking every day too serious? So it just kind of has you to think about different things. Like the
Mhm.
next day, it says, what do I really want to experience? What fears or
Mm.
patterns may be in the way? So it kind of gives you some questions to really think about and to really kind of journal and write that out. Sometimes my son called me the other day. I was so proud of him. He was like, "Mom, how do you write? How do you write your goals out?" I was like, "You need to go back and get that book I gave you, the book I wrote." But I told him you need to really be intentional every day and do one small step that's going to get you closer to that goal. So some days it may ask you, "Well, what step are you taking today to get you closer to your goal?" So it's a great reminder to kind of help you to really stay focused.
Wow, that is good. That is good.
Okay.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, how, if someone wants to connect with you, how do they go about connecting with you?
I think the best way is if you go to my website, just tinaegilbert.com.
Mhm.
It's also a contact page out there, so you can just contact me that way. Also, you can email me, which is just tinaegilbert@yahoo.com. That's a great way. Also, in the book, I mean, you can, once you order the book, it's some contact information in that. But basically, just through the website would be probably the best way.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you so much, Sam. I'm so excited that you came on tonight. And
Well,
what
thank
better way
you.
to start the year off than talking about next level thinking? Because, like you said, each one of us should be writing our plans and seeing where we are each day. And so that was a nugget for me too to see, okay, what am I doing today, or what did I do today to get me closer to that goal that I had in
That's
mind? So,
good.
so amazing. Those of you that have been watching, I want thank you again for tuning in. And I'm your host, Gretchen Dixon, and my very special guest, Tina Gilbert, all the way from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Just so thankful. And she is the author of Next Level Thinking, and she also does consulting. And what is your company is Next Level what?
My company is Next Level Training Solutions. So if you're in a workspace that needs any type of training and development needs, we're doing diversity training, well, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Also, we're getting ready to launch a leadership track. That will be a virtual session where leaders can go through a 6-week session for different topics that will help them to be more effective leaders. Also, we do team development, like really helping teams to connect, especially right now during COVID. That's still really very important. Communication skills. Really, right now, even though we're not necessarily, everyone's not in their offices, it's still so important to really continue your training and development so that you can be more effective in your roles.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably more important now than it has ever been because we've been dealing with so many different stresses and so much change, and also with change management we've had to change so much this year in our processes in our work environment. So I really try to help team members and organizations really be able to meet those demanding needs of a constant changing world and still be productive.
Yes.
Because business still has to continue, and so many businesses have, especially small businesses, have had to close the doors because they were not able to change quick enough to really meet the demanding needs of their customers.
Mhm.
So we're still working in that space as well.
Oh, that's good. That's good. One last thing.
Okay.
In closing, what piece of advice do you have to leave with the audience? Now, for those that are thinking about and pondering the idea of launching out to do a business, but they keep listening to the naysayers or the people that are doubting them. What would you leave with them tonight, since you've stepped out and you are actually doing your own thing?
And that's a good question. I really try to have people to really think about the whole, what's their whole objective is. That strategy. I think that as is so important. I do think that you have to take the step, but I do say take that step very smartly. Don't just get
Mhm.
out there and say I'm jumping and then you don't have a safety net or you don't have anything in place. I started consulting in 2011. And so even before I started consulting, I was already working professionally, and I was in a corporate environment and I had a bachelor's degree, but I was kind of one of the few people on my team that didn't have a master's degree. So I already knew that if I wanted to really be successful, I needed to have the right background. So I went
Mhm.
back to school first, got my master's degree, and then I started slowly still working where I had that safety net. And so I was still starting my business. I was getting all of my, my bank information together. I was
Mhm.
getting my, tax ID number and all that information together. I started doing some small contracts where I was able to get some experience while I was still working. So
Mhm. That's
once
good.
and also now that independent, I still had a little safety nest, some little money tucked away for a rainy day, so that I just wouldn't be out here totally without some type of a safety net. So I really encourage people, definitely create your plan, create your strategy, and start working toward it. You have to make that step. It's just like you said people are maybe start cooking or baking. You think about like Sarah Lee and all these people that started, a lot of them started right there in their house baking
Mhm.
a pie or a cake, and then they just branched and moved farther. So I think you have to start and just keep making those steps, and then just keep moving forward. It's kind of, I think, the best way to really give people advice. You got to do it smart. Got to be smart.
That's it. And to have a plan, because like you said, and it's
Yes.
so true, because as I was preparing as well, the Lord was really dealing with me about my timing for leaving my corporate job. And like you said, I would begin to prepare. I began to look into things. I was checking to see, okay, I know I'm one for making sure I keep my dental appointments. So like, okay, researching dental insurance, because that was something I
Right.
was going to have to pay for. People,
Right.
so how does all that work? And so I was, like you said, I had a plan in place, so that when I did leave, I knew I wasn't scrambling at the last minute to try and get my dental insurance and stuff. So I began to prepare. And then another thing, when you talk about next level thinking, I had to begin to prepare myself mentally. So
That's
yes, it's
right.
okay to prepare, like you said, financially and get all these other things in line. But then I had to start preparing my mind. My mind said, what am I going to do? One of the things that I purpose to not do, which I'm not a person that's sleep in anyway, that I made sure that I got up just like I did to go into that office every
That's
day.
right.
I would get up at 6. I still got up at 6 and got dressed. I didn't walk around the house all day with my with my bathrobe on and
That's right.
in my everything undone. I made sure I got up, I got dressed. Granted, I'm the world's greatest at wearing sweats and a t-shirt, but nonetheless, I got up and got dressed, and then when I had to step out of the house to make those outside appointments, and I made sure that I dressed appropriately. But I made sure that I got up every day like I was going to work for someone else, because I was going to work for me. and I'm going to make sure that I was a success. So, so I'm just really thankful, and thank you again, Tina, for coming
Thank
on.
you. Thank you.
You all can find her on tinaegilbert.com. Follow her. She's on Facebook. She's not out there as much, but just go to her website to connect with her, and you will definitely be blessed, and definitely want to start the year off with you. Begin to think, because like she said, as a man thinketh, so is he. So you have to begin to see yourself already achieving that goal that you want to achieve, or
That's
already in
right.
that position or that car. It's easy to say, oh, I'm in this car or this house, but begin to see yourself living the lifestyle that you plan to live. And that's one of the advantages of doing a vision board to cut out a picture of that house or that car, or even, that bank account that you want to see, those things you want to do, that project you want to do in the community. So, because in the Bible, in Habakkuk talks about writing a vision that makes it plain. And so you have to write it out so they can run with it, so you know which way to go. And it's also a reminder, because us as humans, it's so very easy for us to get distracted, and also to procrastinate. And so that's
Mhm.
one way to stay focused, because you have the vision in front of you. So with that being all, thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you, Tina, for
Thank
being
you.
on. And guys, get ready, because this month, invite someone. You don't want to miss a week, because this, like I said, the month of January, we're talking about your time to soar. And each week, there's a powerful, powerful speaker that's going to be on that will share with you the tools that they use to be successful as they are right now. So you all have a good night and amazing remainder of the weekend. We'll see you next week on Fatal Distractions. Let's chat.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good night.